Hello, this is Jamal. I want to dive into an Habib song that was post the banishment of Oba of Lagos, the Eleko Oba Ishubai. Like I've told you guys in my previous video clips, that Habib's songs, most of it are like a date stamp, event stamp of major incidents, occurrence, or elites in Lagos and the Lagos feudalism as of the time pre-Nigerian independence. This one is one of it, where he actually was talking and referencing the events of 1930s to 1940s of Lagos. Social scene, the community, how things are, the fluidity of things, the tenseness of the society. For us to understand the full impact of the song, I want to give you guys a little bit of historical context. The Oba of Lagos, Eleko Ishubai, the British colonialists found him wanting because they felt he wasn't playing ball with them, that it was more about the aspiration of these people. So they were going to teach him a lesson. Boy, how did he get into the crosshair of the British? It was an Oba 1901. He wasn't really their candidate, but the Lagosian picked him as their new king. While he's on the throne, young reign, the British introduced a taxation, the water tax. The Oba Eleko Ishubai didn't go along with them. He went with the yearning of his people. And the British had to back down. From that point on, they felt like, oh, the game is on, we'll show this dude. Right after the water tax incident, then there was a disagreement at the Lagos Central Mosque. At that time, Lagos Island is pretty much the main majority of the colony, Lagos colony, pre-independence. And one of the big institutions there was the Lagos Central Mosque, because the population there's a large Muslim Lagosian population, and they are very active at the Central Mosque. Well, the British saw that there are some people that it's like the local that didn't like the people that the king went along for being put in the position of Balogun days and that position in the Muslim Central Mosque. So the British jump in and claim that the king was operating outside his purview. He was a king. Why is he getting to the religious sphere of his own community that it was all about over? The hypocritical thing about the British is that they jump in saying he doesn't have a right or say so on who's going to be this position or that position at the Central Mosque. But who are they to jump in themselves? So they drag him. So that was going on. This community, they started trying to play their divide and conquer game. So they kept fueling that. Well, right after that, in the middle of all that, the British tried to acquire the whole entire Apapa land all the way to the ocean, westward of the current boundary of Nigeria, that belongs to the Oluwa family. And they were going to pay the Oluwa family £500. It's like, really? £500 for this whole thing? No, that's right. They resisted. But in their resistance, we got local lawyers jumping in. So you have lawyers like Lawyer Shingles. They jump in, saying, I got in Shingles jump in. Like, no, you can't do this. While that was going on at the home front, Abba Macaulay, who was the secretary of the Ilu Committee. Ilu Committee is the main political, anti-colonial political structure that we had locally, that our forefathers had. The president was Abibu Oki, and then in there you have some strong personalities. And they were pushing back against the British. So about Macaulay, the Jongboro, as the locals would call him, was able to convince the Oba Shubai to grant him and Tijani Oluwa to go to the England and plead their case with the British people. That what these people are doing here locally, their people back home in UK need to know about it. So Obeshubai gave the okay to use the palace staff to go on that trip. Well, when they got to the UK, Abba Macaulay and Tijani Oluwa, everywhere they go, talking to the British press and meeting with the elite of the British, they were building their case with the above Lagos staff with them as a symbol of that our Oba is okay with our case, of us coming to plead our case. And Abba Macaulay took advantage of the attention of the British people at every step. Told them not only that they were trying to cheat the Oluwaras of their land with token, even our current king, Oba Ishubayi, is being paid less than what a British gardener to maintain landscape. Your gardener earns a month. Additionally, when they signed the treaty with his foreigners, they promised they were going to help renovate the palace. They haven't done it till today. So he laid out, well, the case of the Tijani that the British colonialists locally at Homefront in Lagos have manipulated, and they kept making him lose their appeal locally, which is sometimes that's how corrupt judiciary system operate. They tend to dance to the tune of the current political godfather they have. But when Abba Macaulay took it out of the hands of their godfather and went beyond, they got exposed. So the case came back that yes, the colonialists were wrong. Instead of £500, they need to pay the Oluwa about £2,000. I think they had to pay them £2,200 or something to that effect, compared to the £500 they wanted to give the family. From that point on, the British approached Oba Ishubayi, tell him that this is what Abba Macaulay and Tijani Oluwa are saying in England, in London. Do you condone all this, their statement that we've been cheating you guys, we've been running shop over you guys? He said, no, I didn't give them, I didn't tell them to say that. But you give them your power, the palace symbol of authority for them to take to UK. Say, yes, I did do that, but I didn't tell them. Whatever they say, I didn't have them say that. They're grown people. They're talking out of their own volition. So the British colonialists in Lagos issue order for him to repudiate, to send his town crier out to repudiate Oluwa and Abba Macaulay for what they are doing in London and saying in London. He didn't. When he refused to do that, on August 6, 1925, the colonialists in Lagos issue an order for Oba Eleko Ishubayi to vacate not only Lagos colony, but also the province of, it should not go to province of Ijebu, Ondo, Egba, Ijebu, Egba, which is Abeokuta, and Ondo. Pretty much saying, we need you as far away as you can get up north. He didn't leave. So they issued an arrest warrant 2 days later. On August 8, 1925, they banished him to Oyo, which is as north as you get close to River Niger in the Yoruba land. Along with him, when they banished him, were 3 of his main supporters, financially and politically and real loud. One of them was Brahma Igbo. And you get the reference to his name in the lyrics. But there's also Bakari Minsiyu and Kasumu Ayorinde. Those 3 were hardcore, unrepenting supporters of Obaleko Shubayi. And they were also part of the Ilu Committee, the political wing that Abad Macaulay belongs to. So the British, they exiled them along with the King of Lagos to Oyo. On August 8, 1925. So now we have problem at the Central Mosque, divided. Then the British try to install king. They install king to fill in. But the Lagosians, they didn't give up. They kept pushing. So this song covers that. So they install Obas, Akintoye and Sanusi Olusi, but the Lagos people kept pushing. So the British had no choice but to give in. So they have to leave the band 6 years later. August 1931, they had to leave the band. So Obaleko Shubayi came back with from exile with those 3 core supporters. Obaleko Shubayi came back with Brahma Igbo, came back with Bakari Minsiyu, and Kasumu Ayorinde. They came back to Lagos. Within a couple of years after his return, Obaleko died. And the new Oba was Falolu. Falolu Babaraliatu was a humble prince. And he was a fisherman. So he came into the throne. He has to compete with others to get to the throne, and along with competing with Sanusi Olusi and a few others. But he became the king. But now he got to be the king, he had to deal with all the mess in place. While Obaleko was exiled, Shubayi was exiled, not only that there's commotion in the Central Mosque, even the chieftaincies, the Oloyes, chiefs, they shift that under the umbrella of the royal king. There's been one issue after the other, hierarchy issue. More senior, I senior you, you know senior me. I became Oloye before you, but you became Oloye, but you didn't wuye. So ento ba wuye lo need seniority. All that create more mess. So Sanusi Olusi had to, Sanusi Olusi didn't win the kingship, but his side, they were still going at it with about Falulu. And you see some of the reference to the tension. People use some of the line. But with Falulu as the new Oba, things started to calm down. So things started to calm down. And he's a peacemaker in his own way. So he's reaching out his chiefs that have been having disagreement about their own hierarchies, try to settle that. Then he brought and try and unify the Central Mosque division again. So Abib referenced that. Ayé tó sorí kodò, ayé tí rójú. Ayé tó sorí kodò, ayé tí rójú. So, also in this song, a big reference to, in addition to Abat Macaulay, who is always a main pillar in Lagos political scene and social scene, constantly working 24/7. He would go after the prayer service at Central Mosque. He's standing there on the side. People finish the congregation trooping out. He will walk in and go have his meeting deep in the den of the mosque with the leadership. That's how collaborative and how tight they were working together against to free themselves from the colonialist systemic oppression. And he's constantly trying to unite people because constantly telling them about the British divide and rule schemes and all that, constantly blocking the British scheme of divide and rule. He did it till he died. So the song, for those of you that are familiar with Yoruba Sakara genre, you will have heard Lefty Salami recycle this song. Okay. So we'll go through it and I want to tell you guys, I'll sing it along and we'll go. Since I've given you guys enough background, when we sing it, the first iteration I'll sing along. The second iteration I won't sing. I'll just let you guys listen to it. Okay? Here we go. Arabanura fra arabanunu. Araba fura arabanunu. Araba fura, Araba nunu. That's Hausa language. It's not a Yoruba. Like I told you guys, Abib mingles with all the people coming from the interior part of Nigeria because where he lives on Lagos Island is close to the terminals. There are people that drops on Lagos Island will first hit and congregate. So you picked up, so you hear Hausa language in his lyrics, you have Nupe language, you hear Tapa language, you hear Igbo language in some of his lyrics. Araba Fura, Araba Nunu. Let's share Fura, let's share Nunu. What's Fura? Fura is sorghum, which is a grain that the northerners, they use for meal. They grind it And then what's nunu? Nunu is sour milk that they mix with that to make porridge or cereal. Yoruba will call it jero. Jero. They also feed, the birds like it because it's smaller grain. Especially smaller birds, they like it because they can handle it. So araba fura, araba nunu. Let's share fura, let's share nunu. Let's go. Ládàbí jòjò pẹ̀lẹ́ àrán pẹ̀lẹ́ o. Arówó ṣe ládàbí jòjò pẹ̀lẹ́ àrán pẹ̀lẹ́ o. Arówó ṣe ládàbí an individual with means. They have means, they have money, that is rich, that can take care of his bills and not go hustle anybody. Yeah, we look on should I get something back? Someone that has means to take care of his own bills, his own bukata. Jojo pele. Jojo is actually, I tend to soak it in Aro. It's an expensive native material. Aran pele, aṣọ aran, expensive, another expensive cloth, velvet, expensive. So is paying homage to wealth. Arówó ṣe ládàbí jòjò pẹ̀lẹ́ àrán pẹ̀lẹ́ o. Rere ló bá máa ṣe, bí burúkú ló bá máa ṣe. Bí rere ló bá máa ṣe, bí burúkú ló bá máa ṣe. Alátajábálá inú ajá ní ń gbé, ẹ̀dá kan ò mẹ̀yìn ọlá. Bí rere ló bá máa ṣe, ló bá bó bá dà láìra. Tó bá jẹ́ rere ló bá ṣe, bó dẹ̀ jẹ́ ká ló ṣe, wàá bá láìra. That's what you're going to reap in the day of judgment. If you did good in this world to humanity, you will reap the benefit in the hereafter. If you did bad to humanity in this world, you will reap the benefit in the hereafter. Alátajábálá inú ajá ní ń gbé. Whatever you conceal in your heart, I don't know. Your neighbor don't know. Your kin, next of kin don't know. Nobody knows tomorrow. You can scheme all you want. That's what those verses line is saying. Alátajábálá inú ajá ní gbé, ẹ̀dá kan ọmọ èèyàn ọlá. Bí rere ló bá máa ṣe, lòun ló bá bó bá dà láìra. Igbó Buramọ ẹkùn ẹ máa yọ̀. Buramọ Igbo is one of the main financiers of Obeleko's resistance to the British colonists. Buramọ Igbo, he was a leader at Alalukurani Mosque in Lagos, and he's of Okofaji. I've told you guys in the past, there are 5 settlements in Lagos. Isaliko was the first settlement. Olugbowo, second settlement. Okofaji was the 3rd settlement. Pokwaguda, 4th settlement. Ekpete, the fifth settlement. So Buraimo Igbo, along with Kasumu, sorry, I take it back. Buraimo Igbo, along with Bakari Kandu, Anibaba and others, were leaders of the Okofaji. Buraimo Ekun Giwa, he is of the Central Mosque. He's also a financier of Oba Elekwe Shubai, but he was not as aggressive and as vocal like Buraimo Igbo, so he didn't get shipped out on exile. But he was also, he played his role too. So I give reference to him too. Buraimo Igbo, Buraimo Ekun Ema Ayo, meaning all your labor, all your efforts is not in vain. It's not in vain. There we go. Buraimo Igbo, Buraimo Ekun Ema Ayo, àti lọ́mọdé tàgbà kí Macaulay bàbá rere. Àti lọ́mọdé tàgbà kí Macaulay bàbá rere. Macaulay was the main backbone of the pushback against the British colonists. And he was the secretary of the Ilu Committee. So the Lagosians, it was major hero. There was no hero that paralleled Abba Macaulay in the political history of Lagos and the history of pre-independence of Nigeria. Àti lọ́mọdé tàgbà kí Macaulay bàbá rere, èyí tó lọ á máa bọ̀ bàbá rere. What we've lost, we shall recoup plus more. Èyí tó lọ á máa bọ̀ bàbá rere. Tó lọ á máa bọ̀ bàbá rere. Àti lọ́mọdé tàgbà kí Macaulay bàbá rere. Èyí tó lọ àpapọ̀ bàbá rere. Àlọ́ba Fálolú Eléko, ayé tó dòrí kodò, ayé rújú. Fálolú Eléko, ayé tó sòrí kodò, ayé ti rójú. Ayé ti rójú. Ayé tó sòrí kodò, ayé ti rójú. Ó ti rójú. Things are now much better. Àtọ́fà Fálolú Eléko, ayé tó sórí kodò, ayé ti rójú. Things are now calm. Gbogbo báyé ń fìtínà wa, àtọ̀bá wa Eléko Èṣùgbà. Now things are calm. Now ayé ti rójú. The people at the Central Mosque, let's unite. The chiefs, Olóyè Olùmẹ̀gbọ́n, rivaling with Olóyè Olúwa for about their seniority, Talokoko Wuye, Daniel Wuye, and all that. But let's calm things down. Things to calm down now. Má ṣe gbọ́ tí wọ́n dákun Olúwa òkun bọ̀, nítorí pé ìyá kan bàbá kan ló bí gbogbo wa. Àjọ̀gbọ́n Olùdẹ̀gùn Aṣọ̀gbọ́n bàbá wa. Bàbá Aṣọ̀gbọ́n is a strong guess olóyè among the chiefs in Lagos. At this era, in the 1930s, the olóyè Aṣọ̀gbọ́n that was then was Aṣọ̀gbọ́n Majolagbe Ladega. The one after him too was Ladega's last name. And the one during this era took the throne from 1892 to 1935. This Aṣọ̀gbọ́n. Báyìí ni bàbá wa, báyìí ni bàbá wa, báyìí ni bàbá wa. Biney, W.H. Biney, who owns the first private zoo, the Biney Zoo at Yaba, William Hampton Biney. He was the first treasurer of Lagos Island Club. When they formed and started Lagos Island Club, they picked him because they needed someone that already had his own wealth, that they didn't have to worry about, money. So they had to have someone that was very trustworthy and already has wealth. Okay, so Biney. Ironically, Biney was not born in Lagos. He was a Ghanaian by birth. He was born in the Gold Coast. Went to school in Saro. Then, after his schooling in Saro, came to Lagos as a teenager and started working. From there, he started the business of subcontracting to the ship that were bringing cargoes from Europe to the West African coast and to Lagos in specifically. So he was involved in what is called chartering, where talk about when the ship comes and land at your port. Back then, they didn't have heavy equipment to offload, so they needed manpower. So he was the one that was contracting the laborers that offload load from the ship and load the exporting African materials onto the ship. So we call them our own crewmen. Yoruba, you know how Yoruba will Yorubalize any word. So crewmen became Kurumo. So he was the one that would supply our crewmen, our Kurumo, to go offload and load products to the ship. So Biney was that high. He has that much prestige in the society that he could appeal to the masses that let's get along. Let's just all get along. Olúwa ló fi ẹ́ ṣe, ó ní kò sọ̀tẹ̀ ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́ nílùú ká má jà ká má da ìrẹ́pọ̀ lókun. Ó ní kò sọ̀tẹ̀ ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́ nílùú ká má jà ká má da ìrẹ́pọ̀ lókun. Ká lòlú kò wọ́wọ́ wọ́nú ilé ọba tó jó ẹwà ló bùkún ní ọwọ́ wọ́nú ilé ọba tó jó ẹwà ló bù sí i. Ọdún 12 ni wọ́n bá délé jà kó tó wá jọrọ̀ o. Ọba Fálolú kò fọwọ́ wọ́nú ilé ọba tó jó ẹwà ló bù sí i. Ọdún 12 ni wọ́n bá délé jà kó tó wá jọrọ̀ o. He's talking about Adele the First, Adele Ajosun. Got into conflict with the chiefs and the locals, and he had to vacate his throne. But then they called him back. Who is Adele Ajosun? Remember, if you know the history of Lagos, Adele Ajosun younger brother of Eshinlokun. They are both Ologuntere's kids. When Ologuntere died, the masses, they like Adelajosun because he was his father's personal assistant, and he learned all the tradition and the Ifa, and he would translate for his father when his father is dealing with foreigners or non-Ekos. And the chiefs, they loved him. So when the father died, instead of Eshinlokun being the Oba, they picked Adelajosun. But then he got in trouble with the chiefs later on. For two reasons. First thing first, they accused him of allowing the Yorubas from the interiors to bring in Egungun masquerade to Lagos. And the people that are in that space, that commanded that space, they didn't like it. They pushed back. They complained bitterly. They pushed back. You can't allow these people from the rural to bring Egungun here into our space. We already having our Wokwa. That was his first crime in their eyes. The second crime was even bigger. He allowed the Muslims to be practicing Islam and to be calling to prayer loudly. I was like, no, you can't do that. You're letting them squeeze our space. So they started a campaign, and then they forced him to vacate the throne. So he vacated the throne, moved to Egba. When he got to Egba, his reputation of Ajigide Ogun followed him there. They knew he was strong. While he was at Egba were already under stress from the Islamists coming from the north, raiding and harassing them. So the leverages help, and he helped them fought those Islamics off. Well, back to when the people rebel against him from Lagos, they called Eshinlokun, his brother, to the throne. So Eshinlokun became the king. After Eshinlokun died, Eshinlokun's son, Idewu Ojulari, became the king. After Idewu Ojulari, they called Adelajosun to come back to the throne. So the reference there, ọdún méjìlá ló bá Adelajosun jà kó tó wá jọrọ̀. Ọdún méjìlá ni wọ́n bá Adelajosun jà kó tó wá jọrọ̀ o. So I'm going to play it for you guys now, and I'll keep my mouth shut. Okay. ọdún méjìlá lọ́ba Adìlẹ́jà kó tó wá jọ̀rọ̀ Àdìlẹ́ Àjọsùn àṣìlẹ́bẹ̀ kòrò join. A man with a gentleman but with firm stance. Àṣìlẹ́bẹ̀ kòrò join. Àdìlẹ́ Àjọsùn àgbà ò sí ìlú bàjẹ́ baálé ilé kú ilé dáwóró àjìgìdì oògùn very knowledgeable about charms àjìgìdì oògùn ọ̀gbàgbà tí ń gbára àdúgbò ó gba ṣókẹ́nù ó gba pátì ó gba ṣódẹ́kẹ́ tọmọtọmọ Àdìlẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ Ẹ̀gbá ṣókẹ́nù àpáti àti ṣókẹ́nù, those are the Ẹ̀gbá leaders. So Oríkè refers to when he was in exile in Ẹ̀gbá and he ended up helping them. I want to give you guys a token about Brahma Igbo. He's such a strong personality that even his offsprings, grandson, stole away to UK, work hard, so went to UK in the 40s, work hard. By 1950s, he already have established a grocery store, big grocery store in the 1950s and early 60s. Big grocery store. He called it S. Alabi Forest Igbo grocery store. It's at Stockwell in London. So for the people, to the Yorubas that were living in London or UK back then, they would come to Stockwell. Get out of bus station or train station, you'll see the big sign. S. Alabi Forest Igbo. There's a grocery outlet. So if you knew come out in London back then, yeah, I lost S. Alabi Forest ni o. Wà lọ ra nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Kò sí nǹkan tó wá tó ní rí ní S. Alabi Forest. He was grandson of Brahma Igbo. I have a bonus for you guys though. For those of you that are familiar with Yoruba Sakara genre, you'll be familiar with this. Flat Out Recycle. By Lefty. Lefty Recycle, this song we just went over. And he just tweak it to fit the date stamp of the period he was singing about, which was post-Nigerian Civil War in the 1960s. Okay. Mami Abadi. Rere ló bá máa ṣe, bí burúkú ló bá máa ṣe. Bí rere ló bá máa ṣe, bí burúkú ló bá máa ṣe. Alátajábálá inú ajá ní gbé, ẹ̀dá kan ò mẹ̀yìn ọlá. Bí rere ló bá máa ṣe, òun lè ó bá tó bá dà láìra. Débáyọ̀ ẹ ṣe, Gowani ẹ máa yọ̀. Bọ́lájí Johnson ẹ ṣe, General Gowani ẹ máa yọ̀. Gbogbo lọ́mọdé tàgbà ẹ kí mo lọ wọ̀ bàbá rere. Lẹ́kì tó lọ àti bọ̀ bàbá rere. Lẹ́kì tó lọ ó ti bọ̀ bàbá rere. Because when they trump up charges against that war, they locked him up at Lekki. Back then, Lekki was way out there. It's not as the modern day 2024 Lekki where people gushing to build property and beyond of it. It was like way out. Èkó ayé tó torí kodò ayé rojú ọba Adéyínká. Ilé-Èkó ayé tó torí kodò ayé rojú, má ṣe gbọ́jú wọn. Dágbà wa méjèèjì ìrẹ̀kúnnù, nítorí pé ìyá kan bàbá kan ló bí gbogbo wa. Ẹ̀yàn pé ó yẹ ká tọ́jú ìjà kọra wa. Ní bàbá Gawani bàbá, ó ti wú Olúwa ló fi ẹ́ sí. Lórí kò tọ́tẹ̀ ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́ nílùú, ká má jà ká má gba ìrẹ́pọ̀ lónìí. Kálukú lọ fọwọ́ wọ́nú, ilé ọba tó jó ẹwà ló bù sí. Ọdún mẹ́ta ni wọ́n fi àgùnbà ní Nàìjíríà o. Jẹ́fọ́lúwa Àbàgbọ́n ti dé, yóò ti dé ga. Dúpẹ́ f'Olúwa. That's another abuse song that Lefty recycled. In fact, in this LP that Lefty did, it's all compilation of abuse songs that were recycled. This Adúpẹ́ f'Olúwa Àbàgbọ́n ti dé ga. Abibu sang it about the intricacy and the mischief of an usurper trying to sneak into the Aromire chieftaincy. And one of the bloodline pushed back. Ìlú Baba Jimmy. That's for another time. I'll share that with you guys another time. All right. Àbàgbọ́n ti dé ga, Olúwàjọyè ọkàn ẹ̀ tó mọ́, gẹ́gẹ́ bó ti san bàbá rẹ̀. Ọmọkùnrin àǹfààní, obìnrin àǹfààní, àrísìkí ọ̀tún. Guys, don't forget. I put rubbers on mine so that it gives it a different tone versus just stick itself. Versus. alátajábálá inú ajá ní gbé ẹ̀dá kan ò mẹ̀yìn ọlá bí rere ló bá máa ṣe béèrè. Ní gbangba ọ̀rọ̀ kọ̀kọ̀ ní gbangba ló wà. You can style with it, you can roll with it, you can pretty much rhythm with it, you can beat alujo with it. That's alujo, or you could talk with it. Pretty much. Just flow with it. Don't let it intimidate you. Epo ni moru. Ṣòro kọlù igi wèrè pé ó ṣòro kọlù o. Ẹran tàrà yín àkèrè rán tọmọ ẹja lódò ẹran tàrà yín. Guys, stay blessed. If you know anything about this song, leave comment. If you have other comment too, leave comment. But bottom line is, let's remain steadfast. Be truthful and commit to truthfulness, like those people the foreigners that were able to stay steadfast against the colonialists. Remain blessed.